Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Coach Gene Clemens, and I have a giant issue. Let's get one thing straight. I am not a Giants fan. That doesn't mean that I don't care about the outcome of a game. I think that at the heart of what any of us do as journalists is we try to put ourselves into the shoes of all of the people, of all of the stakeholders, if you will. So at times when I look at the Giants, I look at them from a fan's perspective. Other times I look at them from a front office perspective. Many times I look at it from the player's perspective. And sometimes I look at it from the coach's perspective. Now, as a coach, I feel like I have a good sense of what things should be from that side of the coin. Also, as a former player, never in the NFL, but as a former player, I feel like I have a good insight into how athletes think about these things. I've never been in the front office, and of course, I've been a fan. So I feel like I bring some good dualities to conversation because I'm not only looking at it from one perspective. That's why it kind of unnerves me when I see people who want to put the loss yesterday, the loss to the Washington Commanders, when they want to put that loss solely on Slayton. So I want to say this up front. We're only 2 minutes into this thing. I want to say it up front. Number one, he absolutely should have caught that pass. He is a professional football player. He understands that sometimes with the job comes the peril, right? He absolutely 100% should have caught that pass. Also, that was not a good pass. That was not a good pass at all. So when I hear people go as far as to say, oh, well, he should have caught this pass. It's his fault that we lost. It's his fault that he lost. I go, but what about the pass? Right? What about the pass? We're quick to say that he was wrong and that he should have caught that pass. And I'm willing to accept. I'm willing to say, okay, you're right. He should have caught that pass. Now, are we not going to talk about the other elephant in the room, which is that was a horrible pass? And if we're not going to talk about how horrible of a pass it was, how bad of a pass it was, how, oh my gosh, someone has to bail him out. If we're not going to talk about that, then are we being fair? Because it is pretty safe for me to say that if Slayton was not available this year, when everybody wanted him gone, when all of these injuries happened, which, by the way, it's football, it's a war of attrition, that's what happens. Like, people get hurt. That's what happens. Is it unfortunate that the Giants have had more injuries to their receiving core than others? Yes, it is. Is it also then the Giants' fault that they don't have more receivers that are competent and capable to replace them? Yes, it is. When you're going in to a season with these wide receivers as your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th wide receivers, the guys that you need, and you don't really have legitimate talented dudes there, okay. Wan'Dale Robinson was hurt in college. He missed time in college. He is a diminutive wide receiver, and the Giants took him with a front half of the draft pick when there were much more explosive, possibly durable guys available. Now, I shouldn't say explosive. There are guys who are much bigger and probably more durable that were out there to still be taken. But they wanted a Kadarius Toney-like player. Why? Because they never wanted Kadarius Toney. The only reason that you take Wandale when you have Toney is if you never had the thought process of having Toney in the fold. Nobody's gonna come out and say it. People are probably gonna kill me for it. It's cool. I don't mind. These things just make sense to me. That's me putting on a GM or a coach hat. I don't draft a carbon copy of the exact same player unless I'm trying to get rid of that player. Not only did they take Wandale Robinson, who's a very similar player to Toney, they also brought in Richie James, who again is a similar player to Toney. So if you're going to bring in a Richie James and you're going to bring in a Wandale Robinson as guys who are supposed to help you in some manner, then you got to be ready for when people get hurt and they're not available for you, when you could have probably went out and gotten some other guys who may have been bigger, may have been stronger, might have been more durable, but may not have been as elusive, explosive, maybe, but would have been there for you. So you could have had more depth. But besides all that, the idea of every single time Darius Slayton drops a ball, by the way, a ball that is not an easy ball to catch, but again, should 100% be caught. Every time you ridicule him, you make a mockery of yourself, because nobody catches 100% of the balls. Not even your favorite receiver. Nobody catches 100% of those balls. Now, do the elites catch 100% of those balls? No. Do they catch more than they drop? Yeah. Is Slayton elite? No. Is he a good number 2, number 3 wide receiver? Absolutely. And if the Giants at the end of the year don't re-sign him, don't bring him back, guess what he's going to do? He's going to go somewhere else and be a really good number 2, number 3 receiver. That's just the facts. But why do we dwell on Slayton's drop and not on Daniel Jones' throw? Why? Because agendas are here. And everybody says it. All of the Giants fans talk about it. All the Giants pundits that cover and or talk about the Giants, they all talk about agendas, right? There is 2 public agendas. One is the people who want Daniel Jones gone at all costs. The other is the people who want Daniel Jones here at all costs. In the middle sits us. Regardless of what you people believe, I am not here to just get rid of Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones did a lot of great things yesterday. Right? I also think that there's better out there than Daniel Jones. I don't even think you have to go into the draft to find it. I think there's better out there than Daniel Jones. I could be wrong. Right? I could be wrong. Daniel Jones, when the Giants get more weapons in and they shore up the interior of the offensive line, we could find out how good Daniel Jones is. But I want you to ask yourself this question. If everything has to be perfect for Daniel Jones to be an upper echelon quarterback, then is he an upper echelon quarterback? That's all. It's not, do I want him gone? Do I want him here? I could care less. I'll tell you what I do love: wins. Why? Because a winning team gets fans to read and consume more of the information on the team. Losing teams gets fans excited about draft content. And since we're not in that season yet, I'd much rather the Giants win. It's better for all people involved. As a writer for Giants Country, it's better when there's winning. But we have to also be responsible with how we put this blame out here, right? We have to be responsible with how we put the blame out here. When we say that it's Slayton's fault, that the team lost, what we're essentially saying is that Daniel Jones bears no responsibility. Right? That's saying that Daniel Jones bears no responsibility to this pass. So I ask you, exactly what is Slayton supposed to do in these situations? So I'm going to present two things for you because I want you to see this, and I'm looking at this footage from Twitter because I don't want to get like, you know, my YouTube channel flagged, right? So I'm going to bring you guys in on this so that you can see, and we can go over it again. Someone was saying that I should do more of this, and maybe I will, but I want to be able to kind of show you guys how I looked at this play and why I 100% believe that it's a drop, but I also 100% believe this could have been a better throw. Okay? So we're going to come down here. I'm going to bring it up so it's here on the screen. Everybody can see it. You all can see it, right? Yep, you're there. Cool. Great. So here's the first thing. Daniel Jones has to put this ball on the left side. Now, the reason he has to put this ball on the left side is because there's a defensive back over here who is in the center of the field, which keeps him from being able to throw this thing to the side where Slayton is already looking. So Slayton's already looking over his inside shoulder for the ball. But again, you see the guy, the safety right there. So Jones throws this thing to the left side. Now, here is the first problem. Here's the first problem. Why is this not thrown on a laser, right? On a laser to hit this wide receiver in stride? Why not throw a 25-yard laser as opposed to a 45? A 45-yard, we're getting too close to my range of, because he didn't put enough on it. So because he didn't put enough on it, Slayton had to turn and come back for it again. Look at it from here. No pressure. No pressure. You can't blame the blocking because we've been blaming blocking a lot, right? But if he throws the ball here, right now, he could throw a 25-yard laser that gets to Slayton, hits him in the chest. He never has to adjust for the ball. Daniel Jones has the accuracy to throw that type of ball. So now, back to blame for Slayton. Here's some more blame for Slayton. He mistimes the jump. He jumped too early. He jumped too early. And because he jumped too early, he was already past his full extension while he was coming down. So now he's not able to control his body as he goes to the ground. The reason that he puts the ball into one hand is because he's trying to brace himself for the fall, because he knows he's going to fall on his shoulder and or on his head. So he tries to put his arm down to brace for the fall, which, by the way, never a good idea because you can break your arm. So the technique in catching this ball for Slayton is bad. The technique was bad. And because it was bad technique, the jarringness of the field, that jarring of the field knocks the ball out. That's what it is. So we can give Slayton credit, but again, watch. Right here, throw the ball. That is 10, 20. Right now, he is 24 to 25 yards away. If he throws a rocket right now on a line, he hits him right here while this DB is baseball turning. Instead, he throws the lob, which allows the DB to baseball turn back towards back towards the receiver and get into the play. So there is equal culpability to go around in this play. We don't have to only blame Slayton. And by the way, if you want, you don't even have to blame Daniel Jones. This is a part of football. In football, sometimes you make plays, sometimes you don't. But if we're going to give blame, if it's good for one, it's good for everybody, right? We can't say, well, he dropped this pass that would have, we don't even know if that pass would have been a game winner. We don't know for certain if that would have been a game winner. Is Graham Gano automatic? No. He's missed kicks. Does he miss a lot of kicks? Absolutely not. Does it feel good if we're in that position? Yes. What happens if Daniel Jones doesn't fumble that ball in that possession that ended up with 3 points for Washington? Now, I had someone on social media, on Twitter, tell me, how are you going to compare something that happened at the beginning of the game to something that happened at the end of it? And that's where the fan versus the coach diverges. I don't care when it happens. I care that it happened. And if we all cared that it happened, then we would all be better for it. But we're not, and we don't. And that's why Daniel Jones is who he is. That's why Daniel Jones is who he is. And to a certain extent, that's why Slayton has showed the most class that I've ever seen a wide receiver show. Just shut up, do his job, take the ridicule. The hell with all of the plays that he made on Sunday. Don't even think about those. Think about the one time that he was not able to make a catch. People act like he dropped a wide open touchdown pass. If you didn't watch the game, and you didn't watch the play, and you just listened to the reaction or you read the reactions on Twitter, you would think that he just flat out dropped a touchdown ball in his chest. He didn't. Nope. He didn't. He dropped a difficult ball to catch. And he 100% should have caught it. That's why he's not Justin Jefferson. That's why he's not Justin Jefferson, right? You want a Justin Jefferson? You do? Then don't take a defensive end and an offensive tackle in the first round. If you want a Justin Jefferson, you can't hope to get lucky. Go out and get Justin Jefferson type of players. Guess who's not a Justin Jefferson type of player? Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't care what he does. He's not going to be Justin Jefferson. He doesn't even fit the Justin Jefferson profile. So if you want Justin Jefferson types, go get a Justin Jefferson type. Don't get a Kadarius Toney type and then be mad when he gets hurt. Guess what? Kadarius Toney got hurt. So what's the difference? Sometimes we make life harder than we need to make it because we won't just say the obvious. We won't just hold everybody accountable. We'll only hold certain people accountable. And until we start holding everyone accountable, we're going to have collapses like we had these last few games. Here's hoping that the Giants pull it off. There's nothing that I would love more than to write during the playoff run for the Giants. I think they have every opportunity to do so. They're going to need more from their offense. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. This is a Giant Issue.